Desert Diaries. Hello, Arizona calling, and Merry Christmas from the desert. In a really weird plot twist, despite the year that we've had, despite the fact that we can't see any of our extended family, despite the fact that I'm looking outside at blue skies and palm trees and it's 20 degrees, I do actually feel massively festive. I know. I've no idea how, but I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to enjoy it, especially after this year. I think it does help that so many Americans go all out on their Christmas lights in their houses. There are loads of very decorated houses where we live, some tasteful and minimalist, some absolutely over the top and crackers. And you know what? I love all of them. They're brilliant. A house near me actually has an old Volkswagen Beetle, an actual car, in their front garden, covered in lights, with Father Christmas at the wheel. I've no idea why it's a Beetle or where it goes for the rest of the year, but there you go. Another has about 30 massive inflatables in their front yard. One, no word of a lie, is a quite terrifying 40-foot-high snowman, which kind of looms over an inflatable Santa, reindeer, and inexplicably Peppa Pig in inflatable form. I don't know why, just brilliant. It does remind me actually of when I wanted Peppa Pig to make an appearance at my daughter's 4th birthday party at a play centre in Wythenshawe. I got a number off the manager and left a message to get a call the next day. I will never forget the voice at the end of the line. "Yeah, all right, it's Peppa here, Peppa Pig. Do you want me to do a party?" Peppa, you sound so different in real life. Anyway, I did some shopping this week at a local shop, which my American friends mercilessly took the mickey out of me for calling Dillard's. Yeah, Dillard's. Apparently, it's called Dillard's. It's a bit like Debenhams, I suppose, or John Lewis, and I had a nosy around the Christmas section of Dillard's to find loads of Mr. Bingle merchandise. Mr. Bingle soft toys, Mr. Bingle ornaments, Mr. Bingle snow globes, Mr. Bingle face masks. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Who the heck is Mr. Bingle? What on earth has he got to do with Christmas? This is exactly how I felt. So, I did a bit of digging. Apparently, Mr. Bingle is Santa's snowman assistant. Who knew he had a snowman assistant? What does he do for the rest of the year? Does he melt? I mean, I've no idea. But anyway, he's got a snowman's body with an ice cream cone hat. Surely not sensible around water, but there you go. A candy cane in one hand, and he wears a red bow tie that's got bells on it and massive holly wings. Wings, I know. Massive wings. He even apparently has got his own theme song, which begins, "Jingle, jangle, jingle, here comes Mr. Bingle." It's brilliant. He's also the star of a novel called Saving Mr. Bingle. Apparently he's been part of Christmas here in the States since 1947, when he was created as the mascot of the Maison Blanche department store on Canal Street in New Orleans. Maison Blanche, initials MB, Mr. Bingle, get it? MB. There was a huge papier-mâché Mr. Bingle that was displayed outside the store for years and years and years. It was 50 feet tall and 35 feet wide from mitten to mitten. He was also the star of a puppet show that took place every single year until 1985, when his puppeteer, Edwin Eisentraut, died. The massive papier-mâché figure was then retired just after the millennium because it was in such poor condition. But get this, when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005, a levee collapsed near the warehouse where the old Mr. Bingle was stored. All the neighbouring buildings were destroyed, but Mr. Bingle survived, and he was made of papier-mâché, incredible, eh? Apparently this really inspired some local people to refurbish the whole display, and again from 2005 it became a feature at New Orleans City Park. Mr. Bingle was back. the proceeds of his book as well, and I just thought this was lovely. Do you remember the novel Saving Mr. Bingle? The proceeds from that were used to buy a gravestone for his puppeteer, Edwin Eisentraut, whose body, apparently since his death, had been resting in an unmarked grave. So in the 2000s, he got a gravestone thanks to Mr. Bingle. All this from a snowman figure. Now, the reason Mr. Bingle was hanging out in a department store in Phoenix is that Maison Blanche stores were bought out by other companies over the years, as it happens in retail so often, doesn't it? And eventually acquired by, you guessed it, Dillard's, who then rolled out Mr. Bingle across the whole of the States. Mr. Bingle lives on. So here we are, our second Christmas in Arizona, and I'm equally loving hanging on to some British traditions and also embracing new American ones as well. Now, of course, I've hunted down both proper, in inverted commas, gravy granules and mincemeat that didn't have actual beef in it, as some of the rare jars I managed to find in supermarkets here did actually all contain meat. But I've managed to hunt those down. A friend of mine has got me a Tesco Christmas pudding. Hello. And another friend got me some Paxo stuffing. I do love those little touches of home at this time of year. But equally, I'm embracing that they do things differently here. I've wrapped fairy lights round the cactus in my front garden, and Cliff's Mistletoe and Wine has been replaced by the rather splendid Feliz Navidad by Jose Feliciano. What a tune! I'll be climbing a mountain on Christmas Day, of course, and not going for a stroll by the Mersey. And it goes without saying I'll miss my family. I'm so sad not to see them. But with the year we've had, probably couldn't have seen them anyway. And thank goodness for technology. Now, before I go, I wanted to share a final Christmas song with you. My friend Sarah, who grew up here in the valley, told me that this was the song she learned at school. It's the 12 Days of Arizona Christmas. Now, we do things a bit differently here in the desert. So here goes, and sorry for the singing. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 weeds a-tumbling, 11 choy a-jumping, 10 mountain lions, 9 saguaro cacti, 8 manzanitas, 7 javelinas, 6 burros braying, 5 prickly pears. 4 copper mines, 3 cowhands, 2 prairie dogs, and a wren in a Palo Verde tree. Merry Christmas. I'll see you in the desert.